And it happened again. That's all right. We'll just run with it again. We'll work it out one of these weeks. Thank you for listening to or watching the Upland Down Under podcast. Tonight's show's recording live on Thursday, the 30th of May at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. On tonight's show, we catch up on the Upland market floors. We'll review and reflect on the release of the starter city Slough and the introduction of general aviation airports via the new Prime bundles. We'll take a look at the Genesis Season Pass that comes with an interesting bit of extra FOMO Dragon bait. The Upland Genesis Season Ornament Challenge and gamified earnings missions have also been announced. Main topic for this week's show is Hallelujah! UGC Royalties are now live in Upland. Over a full year since they were first announced, and after a bit of flip-flopping on whether or not they were going to do back pay, yes, NFT royalties have finally arrived in Upland. But don't go financing a bank loan out on them just yet. More on that later. We've got quips on carving up and selling the ocean, an Upland stock market, and Upland utilities apparently slip-sliding away. And of course, we'll take a look at another Upland community spotlight, care of the Dynamic Node Builders team. Speaking of which, and as I outlined last week, the Upland Down Under podcast, in collaboration with the Dynamic Node Builders team, has put together a 50,000 UPX prize that you can enter in the lead up to Genesis Week 2024. And that will be spun and won on next week's show. If you missed out on the details on how to get involved in that, hang around and I'll go through it again a bit later on. Tonight we'll also give away 45,000 UPX after fees, the Samurai Aquatics map asset, and don't forget we got the first of the killer 3-piece graveyard map asset sets from show sponsor Laban and his Metaventure Graveyard Goods. That takes the 2024 giveaway tally to 780,000 UPX. And just about 47 map assets. So, speaking of old mate Laban, let's run through his little blurby he's got here. So, yes, tonight's show is again proudly brought to you by the one and only Laban and his brand new UGC map asset Metaventure Graveyard Goods. With showrooms located in Oakland and LA, drag your bones over to visit one of Graveyard Goods' showrooms and bring your property to life or death with some killer gravestone map assets. Terrifyingly affordable. And I've lost my notes. Guaranteed not to leave you in the grave financially. Choose currently from 3 different models to suit your haunting needs. Don't forget that if you own a property in Lone Mountain, talk about a perk for being involved in a node, Lone Mountain node in San Francisco, you can get not 10%, not 20%, not even 30 or 40%. You can get 50% off the retail price, which is already pretty fair to begin with, to be quite honest with you. So DM Laban for more details, either in-game or on Discord. Give Laban a follow on X while you're at it, so your meat suit can stay freshly updated with everything happening at Graveyard Goods. Links to the showrooms and his X account are in the description. Yes, now, if you missed getting an entry in for this week's big bag of prizes, what do we say, 45,000 UPX and Laban's stuff, and plus I'm going to give away a map asset as well. Well, stick around later in the show and I'll outline this week's entry details so you won't miss out on your entry for next week's giveaways. All that and more, of course, on this, the Upland Down Under podcast. If you're wondering how you can take part in the now live streaming of the podcast, I dropped a link to the live stream in the NBA server Thursday nights at about 6:45 p.m. AST. And you can, of course, just keep your eyes out on the associated YouTube feed. Still can't get X to work for the life of me. Don't know what's going on there. Maybe one day I'll work it out. Now, speaking of all of that, it is time for the disclaimer. There we go. Got that out of the road. So, yes, don't go investing more than you're willing to lose. That's about the gist of it. How are we doing this evening, Swally Man?
I am not too bad. And yourself, mate?
Getting there, mate. It was a bit of a scramble this afternoon. I had to do a bunch of in real lifey stuff before Maya got home from work with the new driveway at the front. That's been over a week and a bit, so she's parked in it for the first time this evening. So see how she goes in the morning. Hopefully she doesn't back out and take out one of me poles or something. So I'll be out there with the guiding sticks.
Fair enough.
Yes. I was wondering, Swally, could I annoy you to do me a favour as we just keep going along? Because I've just realised one of the jobs that I forgot to do this week was to work out a better situation for capturing who's taken part.
Already on
it.
it.
Both on stream. Oh, good on you, man. Look at that. All right. Can you, as we get close to the end, just maybe just
I'll post
DM
it to
me?
you. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, bud. All right, what are we up to? I think that brings us over to, let's go and see what's happening in the Upland markets. That is not that one. It is not that one. Where is it? There it is. Right, so what's happening here? What do we got? 90-day averages down 0.6% on the transaction volume, down 1.2% on the trading volume. Bit of a surprise there, considering that we had a kind of city release. Unique active wallets is up, which is nice. Up by a fraction, was 74,720 for last week. Now just under 75,000. Total unminted properties, a almost 12,000 boost there due to Slough, I would imagine. And total properties for sale, pretty much flat. Hasn't jumped up much. 462 extra properties. Not a lot going on there, but as far as the floor markup percentage, the USD markup percentage getting redder and redder and redder as we go. Still 24 is the lowest, but look at that now. We've got Kansas, LA, Nashville, all on 24%, and then just a whole bunch under 50. So yes, if you can make use of buying for USD, plenty of bargains out there. If you are selling for USD, my gosh, we're in for a bit of a slog there. So we've got tied 2 spots. Now this is interesting. We've got 2 spots tied for the worst spots to buy for UPX and sell for USD, which is our last 2 city releases, Slough and South Lake Tahoe. Slough buy for 5,200, sell for 3. South Lake Tahoe buy for just under 18,000, sell for $5.25.
Well, Washington was between them.
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, you're correct. So yeah, well that's interesting. Yep. So we do have a boost on that one. Washington's bucking the trend. Thank you for that. Washington's bucking the trend. It's actually up on both the UPX and the USD. Just under 20,000 UPX and just under $8. So that's cool. Bermuda's also not looking that flash. Buy for 150,000, sell for 45. And on the flip side, best bets are Detroit, buy for 4,450, sell for 3. Rio, buy for 5,100, sell for 3. And Stockton, buy for 4,099, sell for 3, but $3 floors. Brrr. Didn't I say I was going to mark the $3 floors too? I forgot to do that too. Oh well. What else we got? What did Slough come out the gate with? What did I just say? $5,203. I guess that's pretty fair for a starter city. How does it compare to Stockton, Trenton? Stockton, 4,000, Trenton, 5,200 and $3 floor. So yeah, that's a pretty good indication. All right, changes through the week. What do we got? Arlington up 9% on the USD, was 559, now 610. Not much happening down there. Buenos Aires, somebody's buying up the floor there and flipping. Buy for 9,999, sell for $3.82. Same in Dallas, up 16.7% on the UPX and down 6.6% on the USD. What else we got? Oh yeah, there's a bit of buy for UPX, sell for USD action happening all over the place here. In London, was 15,000 UPX last week, up 6.7% to just under 16. Was $7.30 last week, now down 6.8% to $6.80. LaSalle, that's always just a bit balked. And then a lot of flats. Rio, yeah, up. Oh, that's interesting. Santa Clara's going the opposite way. Down 11.3% on the UPX. Was 42,750 last week, now 37,900. And was $12.50. Down, up 12% now to $14. So somebody's doing the opposite there. Probably stacking their bags for the Genesis Week City release, I'd imagine. They're buying for the USD and selling for the UPX. And that's about it. What's old mate Tokyo doing? Flat as. And Washington, as you just said, yeah, $7 last week. Now $8. Okay. Bit all over the place. Not a lot happening and quite a lot happening all at the same time. What's your take on any of that?
No, just more of the same. I would have thought that there'd be less selling for USD at the moment with people saving for next week, but maybe not.
Yes. Apparently not. All right. Well, sticking with the theme of the latest starter city, Slough, how did you go? How'd you go on that?
Didn't go.
Didn't go at all. Yeah,
Didn't go. No, my whole focus at the moment, as I've been saying the last few weeks, is Washington. I've been saving up a bit of UPX for Genesis Week in case I FOMO into anything there, which I honestly can't see happening. Because there's three. I want to buy 2 million UPX properties in Washington. So obviously it's going to take me some time to do that. But like I said, I've got enough money to do one at the moment. I'm just sort of waiting for Genesis Week to see what happens. And if there's something there that I FOMO into, then so be it. But otherwise, yeah, I'll buy one of these collection properties in Washington.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't. Well, I think we got that wrong, didn't we? We were all speculating that it was going to be released at a nice time for us, but
I was spot on.
Released.
Nope.
Yeah.
If you go back to last week's show, I said it'd be 2 a.m., like the normal time.
Yep.
Bjornman said, no, it'd be like midnight, so 5 hours from when we were doing our broadcast, being about midnight. And I went, well, we'll see who's right. And it was exactly 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or the usual 9 a.m. PT.
Yeah, PT. Yeah, I stayed up till about 10 p.m. our time. I thought maybe if it's going to drop early, but clearly it didn't. So, yeah, I just went to bed and got up in the morning. By the time I got up, most of the collection properties that were worth anything were all gone. So I just zapped over and got myself a showroom property. That's all I got. And you give me a bit of a heads up on a showroom location, but it was all gone by the time I got there.
Yeah. Do you not buy 2 more just to fill out the standard collection? I know you don't really care too much, but...
Well, you look at the dividends. It's not even worth it. 600 dividend, It's not 600 UPX a month dividends. I'm selling, what have I got for sale? One of my San Francisco collections. Might be Pacific Heights or something like that. Anything where the dividends are under 3,000, I'm going to offload all those too, if I can, for USD, because I've just found it personally, my whole thing with dropping my property count, I'd rather have one collection set there that's, generating 100,000 UPX a month.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take on that whole thing at the moment. Yes, anybody else in chat, make sure you jump in with your 2 cents as well, or your 2 UPX. Let us know how you went in any of these things. If you are in the actual StreamYard and you'd like to get involved and, get on voice and let us know, ping us in the chat as well. We can get that sorted out. Otherwise, Swally and me will just ramble on. Bamtech's in the house. Jimmy Jester. How's it going, boys? All right, what are we up to? So that was Slough. So that was a bit of a fizzler for us. Some people went gangbusters in there. I know that you happened to be at the right time and got a whole bunch. Good on you if you did. Then we also had the general aviation airports, of course, the prime bundles. Now I should have stuck with my screen share because I was looking at that just before. Let's go back here. Now, when did I look? I looked the other day and there wasn't many there.
Here's 20.
Only 20 left, yeah. So it made plenty of coin on it.
150k, what didn't Bjornman say?
Yeah. So that's good. Plenty of people have gone in for the gamble. I did see on general some people have done really well, of course. And then I guess it depends how you want to view. If you ended up with, there's people that got 3 properties there and the mint value's 800k. The reported mint value is 800,000 UPX. Then on the surface, that looks pretty decent. But are you ever going to be able to sell that for the equivalent amount in USD? Probably not anytime soon. So hopefully you can put those to some kind of meta-venture use or something, maybe. Who knows?
You see Goldie's incident?
No, what happened
to Smith? Well, he only got notified of 2, so he was convinced that he was getting an airport.
Yeah.
And waited days and days and days and then didn't.
What did he get instead?
I forget. I didn't catch up the end of it. It wasn't an airport. It may have been a Beverly Hills property. I'm not sure what the third one was in the end, but wasn't to be an airport apparently. So he was somewhat disappointed, I think.
I could imagine that'd be a bit of a letdown. Yeah.
But that's just that because he only received the 2 notifications, so he thought, oh, must be an airport, and he was all excited for several days, and he's broadcast and chatting to some other guys and stuff, and so that just this notification, the way they're releasing it, just doesn't seem to be working still.
Yes,
but the other flip side too, there's 20 left. If you know all the airports are gone and all the landmarks are gone, why would you buy one? So
yeah, well, do you know? I haven't kept up the speed.
I'm sure if you looked at the blockchain or something, you'd be able to figure it out. I don't go that deep into it. If I was, you'd be able to research it for sure. If I was to, if I was keen to buy one, I'd probably do the research because I told you where they are, so you'd be able to figure it out. How many's left, if any?
Yes, BAMTech's done the numbers for us. $300 bought you a 4% chance at an airport. Yeah, too low to even get me interested. I kind of went on a bit of a rant in general this morning on the way out to work, just saying that the whole gambling aspect, it just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, and a 1 in 250 chance of a landmark.
Yeah, very low odds. All right, so that was that. Now, of course, as expected, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's been kind of announced up with the march towards Genesis Week. That's kicking off very soon, and I believe they said that the actual tickets for that are going to stop pretty soon because, obviously they need to get the management side of that, know how many people are coming and whatnot. So if you were humming and hawing about going, well, you better pull your finger out and make the decision because you don't want to miss out. Now, let's close up some of these tabs. Not that one. Yeah, let's go and check out some of these. Now, I did just see before we push live that somebody has either accidentally or whatever, they've actually burnt their gold season pass.
Ouch.
Oh, boy. So what are we talking about? So, yes, Genesis season passes. We knew Genesis season passes were coming. These look pretty flash with the Sparklet logo on them. Now, at the start of the show, I said there's an extra bit of FOMO Dragon bait here. Well, that's this whole gold situation over here. So, Genesis season pass, more exclusive collectible drops. As the Genesis season approaches, we're thrilled to introduce the latest edition of season passes, the all-new Genesis season pass. I did say I'm not going to cover pass rewards on this show anymore, but obviously this is a new feature, so interesting to see all of that sort of stuff. So what are we talking about? This season is particularly special as it introduces random drops of a unique collector's item, the Gold Season Pass. While this exclusive Gold Pass doesn't grant any extra benefits if burned, its rarity makes it a coveted collectible for dedicated players. Even more rare now that apparently somebody's burnt one of those. I believe there was only 20 of them, if I listened correctly. So yes, we know what season passes do, $7, and there's still plenty available. Yeah, if that interests you. Yes, blah, 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 blah. Last season's highlights, animated block explorer overlays. Yes. I don't think... Well, there's plenty of us that were, utterly amazed by them. We'll have to wait and see. I would expect, I think this season pass will be a good indication of what's to come. If they don't go all out for this one, if there's not several things in there where you go, wow, that's really cool, then, it kind of seems now or never. They always seem to pump things up specifically for Genesis Week. It'd be weird if they don't this time. How'd you go, Swally? Was it enough to tempt you to get one?
As I said earlier, this is like strike 3 for me. So the third month in a row, third season in a row, I should say. If they don't make it amazing this season, I'm going to probably sit back and wait until I look at it and go, oh, damn, I missed out on that, which at this rate, I just can't see happening. Having said that, Upland hit back over the last few weeks with X1, I think, and a few others, just mentioning the passes and how they're comparing them to other games and what they provide. And I think they miss the mark. I don't think they understand exactly. My experience, and I'm certainly not a full-on gamer like some other people are, but I don't think they are providing what other games are providing for the similar sort of money.
No.
Like I said, 2 seasons so far, I've been nothing but disappointed. 1 or 2 things are okay, but certainly not worth the time and effort or money. Probably would have better off been buying a property or two. But we'll see what they do for Genesis Week.
Yes. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I buy season pass for 2 of the other mobile games I play, but they're not purely cosmetic. They come with a mix of cosmetic and in-game functionality, like it can boost your currency generation or give you better stats for a period of time. So that's, I mean, if they're comparing like for like that are cosmetics only, maybe.
Yeah, I think they've missed the mark. I mean, almost everyone I've seen talk about it has been disappointed by them. So clearly, they've missed the mark. I mean, players are supportive of Upland, which is why I think the vast majority still buy it. Although surely, I mean, I don't have access to the numbers, but surely it's dropping off. And we won't bang on it too much about it, but we've all said it. Like, there's so much more they could be doing other than just the same overlays time and time and time again. But a simple feature like a daily or weekly login bonus, spins, pick up some free sends, or small amount of UPX, or I don't know, would certainly with a like 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 chance of getting something awesome like some spark or something. I don't know, but we've talked about it forever. Upland,
yes,
I don't think listen to us, so it is what it is.
No. It is what it is, mate. Yeah, and the talk is always, it's only the prices of a coffee. What I was kind of banging on about this morning is, well, I actually like coffee. I'd probably 10 times out of 10, I'd take the coffee. Or it actually, when you do the conversion into Australian dollars, that works out to about a bag of cement. And I can, I can do a fair bit with a bag of cement, and that actually adds a real value to, the property and what I've got going on in real life. So yeah, it's easy to say, it's only cost of a coffee, but not all coffees are created equal, perhaps. So yes, plenty available there if you do want to go and get one. Might be worth checking. You could probably check on the blockchain to see how many gold ones are there, to see if it's worth having a go for that. Yes, I agree, Bamtech. All I'd have to do is add a few BEs to map assets and it would be worth it for a pass. But then that's not cosmetics only, is it? Because then you
can start selling them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a bit tricky. If they are committed to sticking to that, which I don't know why they would be, they're kind of stuck in that little box, I suppose. Right, so that wasn't the only Genesis season news, of course. We also did have the Genesis season ornaments announcement come through. Now, before we got kicked off, I was setting all these up and I had a bit of a giggle at this. Upland's Genesis Season Ornament Challenge. Embrace the future. What's the future of frickin' grey concrete skin on your building? That's kind of bizarre. If they're going to make a tagline with that, you'd think it'd be like, Neon Tron or make it futuristic.
I think that's what it is meant to be.
Is it? Well, it's a bloody shitty version of it, if so.
I haven't looked at it closely. I might bring it up now, but I think it was supposed to be sort of looking like a bit of a circuitry board type feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was kind of neon or something, that'd make sense. Just boring old grey. But they do look cool, though. I'll give it that, like, as a general thing with the spark token on it, with the wings. So that's pretty cool. So now I read this just briefly a couple of times this morning, and one thing that stuck out to me, which I may be wrong, but I'd get your take on this as well. So, yes, Genesis season ornaments, blah, 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 blah. This interesting point here is that they're not going to... Where is it? Where's the sale details? So there's no registration requirement for this. It's first in, best dressed. I would imagine there's a cooldown on it. I hope there's a cooldown on it. $14 to $20, which is fair enough. Quantity 200 to 600, depending on what type it is, of course. This means that if you want to have any hope at getting these, you're going to have to get up at stupid AM Australian time. But what are you buying? Are you buying one item?
I'm just reading for the first time myself. That's what it appears to be. It's not a bundle.
Bundle? Yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I can
sale, but yeah, I mean, and it's not even in store yet, so you can't see what it says, like what it's going to be. It's not just for owners either. It's shop owners, is it? It's for everyone.
Yeah, it's
is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be right.
There's block explorers, but that's with the leaderboard bloody thing. So yeah, that's.
They still haven't changed that.
That ain't a bundle, mate. That ain't a bundle. That's not a bundle. This is a bundle. There you go.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, if it's a.
Sorry.
No, you're the structure ornament sale. It's usually you know exactly what you're buying, and you buy that one. If you want a townhouse, well, you buy the bloody townhouse. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
maybe we're just being pedantic about.
That's when it's to everybody. When it's a bundle, you can get 3 of any of the 5 varieties, which is fun. And that was usually only open to the shop owners. And a couple of seasons ago, that was the case. And I went and got my shops just so I could be part of the sales. And ever since, it's been just for everyone. So having a shop was pointless for me so far. I don't mind these ones. I wouldn't mind picking some up. But yeah, not if they're $14 to $20 each.
Because normally, if it is a true bundle, it says you've got X and X chance, this one or that one, or you get 3 of these. But there's nothing in there at all about that, is there?
No.
I'm not going crazy. No, nothing. So I don't know. I read this at whatever time I got up this morning, at 5 o'clock this morning, and this list of the available ornaments was a third of this. I picked up on a couple of missing ones myself, and I shared that within the UCN channel. So straight away, I knew that Lockheed's Rocket Llama, that was missing. And of course, there's the Eye Passenger from old mate Umbrella Boy.
Umbrella.
If you haven't seen that, I'll give him a bit of a free plug because he has been a previous sponsor of the show. So you can. I went and checked out his showroom before. There are still some available. And this one just looks like absolutely awesome. We've got a kind of monstery thing, tentacled monster on a rocket here. It's the Eye Passenger Ranch House ornament. It is available for Genesis season. There's only 333 total mints, 20,000 UPX or $8.50. Available now at the Eye Showroom at 17273 Woodbine Street, Detroit. And yeah, as I said, I did check and there are stock there. So I got a couple of those myself. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. But yes, there's plenty of options there now. I guess other people must have reached out and said, hey, what about this? Where's this one and where's that one? So quite extensive, the list there that you can go and add on to now. I did the other night, I went into my structure ornament showroom and I delisted a whole bunch of stuff because, as has happened previously, I forgot to do that, and then you wake up and a whole bunch of stuff's gobbled up. Although I did put them at fairly good for me USD sale prices, but I still want to decorate Midtown Terrace at some stage if we ever get transportation mechanics to help me out with that. So yes, I won't be getting up at Mofo AM to buy one of those, but they do look cool. If there are still some available in the morning, I did have... What did I sell? I sold something. Yeah, I sold something, and I think I might have $30, $40 in my Upland balance. I may have a little USD nibble on something if I can get... What usually goes fast? Micro houses go fast. Apartments...
I was looking at the Spark rental just, I think, a day or two ago, which has all but died in the ass. There was a whole page of micro houses being built by one player, and that was pretty much all that was being offered out for rents, which just goes, like I said, this what's ruining, I think, Upland at the moment. It's just micro houses, which can have a maximum stake of 25, takes less than a day to build, and people are just whacking them up all over the place, which it's just... doesn't create utility for Spark because it's so small, and just 1 point. Like, it doesn't matter if you create a tower, an apartment, or a micro house, you get the same point. Like, what the hell? Like, gamified Upland, make it a competition. Like, at the moment, you can just look at who your competitors are, and go, well, Shaq's got 106 of these, so I'm going to need 107 at least. So you work that out, $10 each, $1,000 it's going to cost me. What's the point in taking her on?
Yep.
But you gamify it and go, well, hang on, if, ultra rare collection's worth, 10 times as much, and you put an apartment on it, which is worth 5 times as much, and then you got super rare ornament on it, which is worth another 5 times or something. Well, then all of a sudden, you can't just look at another player and go, well, they're going to beat me because they got more. You make it a competition, and then you've also got to encourage people to put them on earlier, not leave it to the last minute as a bit of a surprise. Because so maybe there needs to be accumulation of points per day or something like that.
It has to stay on for a certain time period.
Or something like that, because at the moment there's nothing to stop you, and like you did it the first season, you put up 1 and end up with the same reward as I did with 30 for the whole season. There needs to be an encouragement to put them on early so everyone can see who their competition is and what they're up against, stuff like that, rather than just leave it at the last second, whack them all up and go from 0 to 1,000 points in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. And I will say shout out to the people over on Twitter. I've kept spamming the button just then. Apparently we're live over there now too. I don't know why it keeps failing at the start, but welcome aboard. So we're looking at here now, this is what the iPassenger looks like on the ranch house. Looks pretty cool. And that's a good point, Swiley. Thank you for saying that too, because don't forget that if you are going to put your structure ornaments on and you want to take part in this and for the competition, the leaderboard, but also for the mission, has to be on a collection property. It can't just be on a whatever property. So I've got mine here on just my generic South Lake Tahoe stuff, and that is in the Pioneer Village area, which is looking, if I can zoom out, it doesn't want to look. We'll go this way. So that's looking pretty bloody cool now. The old Pioneer Village, I should say. Is it fully done? No, there's one more to go. One more to go. Is that right? That's awesome. Look at that. One more to go. Who's been the slacker?
Oh, it's all about that.
Guy. Oh, nearly done.
Oh, people could jump on and help him.
It's 3 hours. It's probably... Yeah, she's pretty much full anyway. So, so very cool. That's an important point. That's easy to skip that one. That it has to be a collection property. Otherwise, it ain't going to count. All right. Now, speaking of season missions, well, we did get those dropped as well. I had a quick blitz look through this, and I just went, oh, that's fair enough. I didn't dive into this with any details yet myself. Have you had a look at these yet?
Briefly, there's not as many as last season, but the outliers, the harder ones to get, are still there. So I think people are still going to struggle, especially with the referral one without doing... I mean, to get new referrals, unless you're someone like yourself or a big influencer, you're not really going to get too many referrals legally, anyway, legitimately.
You say that. I think I've got one referral in my entire account history, so that's not something I push at all. So
that's one more than me.
Fair enough. All right, so what do you got to do? We have to do 5 of these. That's the minimum, isn't it? So daily dedication, log in for 25 days, easily done. Consecutive connection, log in for 7 days straight, easily done. Property Pioneer, mint 3 properties. We've got Genesis event, city release going to happen, so that should be easy done. Start 5 standard treasures, that's easy done. Visit 3 different BE shops, you can do that. Super easy. So there's your 5, bang, straight away.
Yep.
Too easy.
Exactly.
Can't complain about that. Maybe you could say, well, I don't want to log in for the 25 days or the 7 days. Okay, so let's say you're at 3 or you're a tight ass and you don't want to mint 3 properties. What else can you do? Apply the Genesis ornament to your properties for at least 3 weeks. Okay,
there's a million of those in the game, so you can buy them for as cheap as $3.
Yep. Master Builder, now you're starting to get in the nitty-gritty stuff. Complete the construction of 5 structures. I don't bother with that one. Economy Contributor, burn or exchange 3 items. I won't be messing with that one. Community Grower, that's the one you're talking about. Referral bonus. I don't. If that happens, it happens. It's not something I'm going to push. This is a new one, isn't it? That wasn't there last season.
I don't. Like I said, I didn't look at it last season. Well, probably is new.
Don't bother.
Maybe. Again, most of us will do that without trying, but
yeah, especially you could easily do that one if you get involved in all of the various shows and all the giveaways that myself, this show, and other people do. There's plenty of opportunities to get them for free. And the frequent flyer, take 5 flights, experience the vast world of Upland. I mean, you could probably just zip zap backwards and forwards between a couple of close cities if you wanted to.
True.
Yes. So all of that's pretty straightforward. Nothing too super duper interesting or out of left field in that one. I was expecting something. I was expecting something kind of more Genesee related. Visit the Genesis city and land or visit the Genesis property or something. You'd think they'd tie. I think they've been very lazy. Is that too harsh to say? By tying in what you do with the actual season.
I think they're just trying to keep it very similar for everyone. I mean, visit Genesis property is fine if you're in San Francisco, but if you're in London, it's going to cost so much more to get there. And no, I think it's pretty much in line with everything else. It's if you want to get that referral and go for the lot, but it's not worth it. I don't think for the extra point, that tiny extra 0.5% or whatever it works out to be. I don't think it's worth the effort.
Yes.
But to get 5, I mean, you have to really not be playing the game not to get 5. So I think I think they've done it well. I think gamified earnings is probably the best thing they've done in the last 12 months, and bring it on.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, you'd almost have to go out of your way not to achieve it.
Yeah.
So, most of them you can just do by default. If you are, any sort of level of engagement, and if you're not, well, then you can't really bloody complain. And even if you're not, I said, sorry, finish your thought.
I was going to say, and even if you're not a treasure hunter, you can start 5 treasure hunts, and you don't have to do them. You just start them and walk away. It doesn't even cost you a cent. So obviously not do it on the same day.
Yeah. The only cause for butthurt I can imagine is if you're from back in the day and you bought decent collections in San Francisco, Manhattan. Maybe you went big in the financial districts or whatever the big collections were back in the day, and you were you're a set and forget player, and then you're gonna check back in a couple of years, and your dividend rates dropped out the arse, and you've also hit the earnings cap, and you'd be like, what the hell?
But you want to go and put money in a term deposit, then do that. If you want to come here and play a game, play the game. So
yes. Fair enough. I like your take on things. Absolutely. All right. So that brings us over to what I pegged as the main topic for this week's show. We're racing through it tonight. I said, hallelujah, UGC Royalties are now live in Upland. So it's been over a full year since they were first announced, after a few of us in the UGC community started to kick up a bit of a stink. We got the announcement that, yes, they are going to come through. That got us all excited. We were told at the time it would be back paid. Then yada. Just recently, actually, I think it was a month or two ago, we got told that no, we weren't going to be back paid, and then they flip-flopped and said we are going to be back paid. So it was all over the place. But yes, they have finally come through, and we did get back paid. So I said at the start of the show, that's all well and good, but maybe don't go taking out a bank loan based on it. So what do I mean by that? Now, probably because myself and the team at Samurai Aquatics, we were so early on in things, I never really took much notice of what was happening on the secondary sales, because don't forget, royalties are only associated with secondary sales, not your primary sales. Never really focused on what was going on with the markets with our stuff. We just kind of plodded along doing what we're doing. What did I get here? I got a whopping, where is it? Not that one. This one. No. Did I close it? No. There it is. So this is my blockchain data. I got a whopping 115,811 UPX, which is better than a poke in the eye with a burnt stick, but I have to carve that up 3 ways and send it off to the other 2. So, that's probably... When did bloody map assets start? It has to be over 2 years ago. Or 18 months or something like that. So that's a long time.
About when I started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any USD as well?
No, there's no. As far as I'm aware, there's no kickback at all for USD. So you don't get any direct USD. Whether they work out USD and convert it to UPX, I got no idea. There was no information given at all. It's just you're going to be receiving your dividends or your royalties, and they did come through. So thank you very much. I said to DTech, I think I said to him, the figure's not really that important or impressive. What's most important is that Upland has delivered on what is essentially like one of the major UGC promises. And of course, it had to happen. It had to happen. And it has happened. So shout out to them.
And now that's what, a monthly payment at the end of each month or something, is it?
Supposedly, yeah. So
which
based
could pay for your dues.
It might do, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It won't be much, but it will help. So what does that equate to? I couldn't for the life of me work out the algorithm I needed, so I did a bit of brute forcing in Excel, and I worked out that payment means that we had secondary sales totaling about 4,632,450 UPX. That's how we ended up with because don't forget, there's 5% fee on that, but Upland takes 2.5% and they kick back 2.5% for the royalties. So a bit over 4.6 mil in secondary sales. So I haven't really put the feelers out to see what anybody else has got. I'd imagine that Samurai Aquatics would be fairly well up there, but then there's other people that have done a whole bunch of business just recently, including shout out to Umbrella Boy, and I believe Tosh Shack and them would have probably made a bit of a mint too just recently. But yes, the most important thing is that the system is in and it's up there and good to go. Now, I'll just quickly go through the actual announcement about it. Speaking of which, this new system where we can't just see all the events on the Upland bloody websites, kind of annoying. Hopefully they get that up and running soon. Secondary, yes, I don't think there was anything super interesting here. 50% of this 5% transaction fee. Why don't they just say 2.5%? Why are they going to do that? Just say 2.5% is what you get. Royalties are distributed to creators monthly. Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice if you got some in-game message that said, this month you had 4 point, or maybe they will. Maybe this is just the first one, but it'd be nice to say this month you had this many sales, so therefore this is your payment. But it seems like you can see if I go back to my account, if I'm going to collect my dividends, 23,000, I'm not even going to notice that come through, which first world problems, I'm not trying to be a gloating bastard, but you're not going to really notice it. And people who are in situations like myself where those royalties are not 100% mine, I have to split that 3 ways and send that off. I'm not even going to know. I'm going to have to go out of my way to find out, how much was sent through. So that's a bit annoying. Not too bad, but a little bit annoying.
A little message in the message box would be nice.
Yeah, just something simple. It's all those small quality of life things, eh? Makes a huge difference. So, yes, hopefully now if you've been on the fence, I mean, as I said, the figures themselves, not a massive carrot, but that system is in place. So,
and that's forever too, though. So,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. All right, moving on. Let's have a look at some quips, shall we? So we got 3 quips this week. If you don't know what quips are, now this is one of the very easy ways that you can get yourself some free UPX. Well, not free. You've got to put a little bit of effort in. We've got some rampant quipsers who just bank an UPX every week, and we've got another 2 of them this week. So if you have no idea whatsoever what I'm talking about, quips are questions, insights, provocations, or statements that we can dive into on the weekly podcast. If we use yours, then you're going to win yourself some kind of prize. Usually it's 10,000 UPX after fees. There's a link to a Google form in the description. Pretty easy. All you got to do is say what you want to say, and make sure you include your in-game name if you want to get that prize. You can submit it anonymously, though. This week, we start off with a question from Rampant Quipsar Cern S4, and he asks, with the expectation that boats will eventually enter the Upland Metaverse, should plots of ocean become subject to becoming owned by players, such as a square defined by latitude and longitude lines? Or would territorializing ocean land become problematic in the Upland Metaverse? On a note of humour, with somewhat of a serious potential concern, is that blue squares might be hard to see in the ocean, so the colour scheme may need to change as well if such squares are ever to be conceived. What do you reckon? We carving up the ocean?
Absolutely not. I mean, if we did the ocean, why not the sky? No, absolutely not. There's plenty of land to sell. Maybe even the moon one day.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's pretty far-fetched. What do you think in chat? Anybody? Would you be interested in buying up some ocean? Whether or not you could do it or not, it's one thing, but would it interest you?
No, but we'll have what do you call it? Mental blank at the moment. Like the
what do you got?
The railway station depot. What do you call it? The
terminals.
Terminals. That's the mental blank. Yeah, you'll have a terminal maybe for the waters for the ships, but no, selling the ocean. No, absolutely not. Not
happening. Yeah, there is a spot in San Francisco. I'm just trying to find it now. I can never remember where it is. Where there's like 6 plots. Oh, here it is. Here, look at this. Is that it? Yes, this is it. Let me bring this up. Have you seen this before? Where are we? So this is just off the bottom right side of San Francisco. So just off the Candlestick Point area. Oh, I just lost it. Where did it go? Oh, I shouldn't have scrolled off. Yeah, but there's like a series of like properties just out in the middle of the bloody ocean. There they are. So that kind of what he's kind of talking about there almost. That's just pure ocean.
What is that?
You can buy one.
What is that in real life though? Like, is that a mapping error or is there actually something out there?
It's ocean. As far as the street view goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been here for the longest time. Choina, that's a crazy old account. He's the OG back from, Alamo Square days. So, yeah, she's just all ocean, bro. There's nothing out there. It's not like a research station or anything. So, I don't know how these ended up here or,
Oh, that's strange.
It's a bit of a quirk. So, what's that? Yeah, 5 mil if you want to get in there, or 10 grand. Yes.
Small markup.
So yes, technically you can go and buy a part of the ocean at the moment, Cern S4, but whether or not that's going to come to the actual game, I think we would see a fantasy world before we'd ever see them carving up the ocean. That would be my guess. Yes, good one though. What else did he say? And that obviously they have to change the colour scheme, perhaps. But then, as we saw, it seemed to work over there where that was, so maybe not. So that's Cern S4's one. Next up, we've got Kushal089. He states, we need a stock market in Upland for layer 2s. When I read that, I was like, a stock market? What the hell are you talking about, mate? He goes on to say, it's high time we take charge as players. Get the pitchforks out. He says, we need a stock exchange like the Spark Exchange that incubates new projects and users can buy shares if they believe in a layer 2's idea. We need to organise ourselves and approach this together as we are the early adopters who have seen this dream together. Okay, so stock market, you're buying into a project that you believe is going to be sticking around. So you're essentially helping fund the continued development of the project. I don't know. Sounds okay.
I think the best way you can support a project is to play the projects.
Yeah.
I I think we're already investing in a game as it is, isn't it? Do we really want to invest more? I don't know.
We have seen through the history, within the community, there's been people offering shares in banks, spark development situations, some other stuff that slips my mind as well. I remember probably a year or two ago, somebody wanted some collection properties, and they were offering me, some weird number of shares in some bloody thing. I was like, I don't know what the hell that is, mate. I ain't touching that. So there has been some instances of that within the community already. I think people would be pretty wary of something like that unless it was properly tied in to governance of some sort. I was talking to somebody about that in chat recently about, it might have been Ace actually. We were talking with some other people about how community governance is supposed to have been more than just, every once in a blue moon, Upland gets us to vote on blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to have been tied, or were we talking about that last week? It's supposed to have been tied to neighbourhood ratings, or neighbourhood development. It's supposed to be within your little area. Yeah. It might have been Scooby. No, it wasn't Scooby. I'm all over the place tonight. It was Nosif. He got his nose out of joint with somebody in one of the neighbourhoods he's developing. They'd put up the wrong coloured building or something, and he'd reached out in DM, and it seemed like it got pretty ugly between them. And basically, the guy's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Obviously, if there was community governance, if you wanted to put up a blue building but the colour scheme was pink, you wouldn't have been able to do it if it was voted on, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that would be an idea. So what has BAMTech said? Since most Layer 2 projects have failed, I don't think it would be an active market. Now, yeah, failed or stalled, really, yeah. It's tough. Ongoing development takes so much time, that time's always the factor that people don't consider. Ideas are easy to have. It's always way more fun. I know this from my game development days myself. It's way more fun to start new projects. It takes a hell of a lot of time to keep grinding them out to completion. A hell of a lot of time.
Well, motivation and enthusiasm, dies off without further incentives. So I've been there and done that myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm speaking out of my ass a little bit, but I know with the game development side of things, you could have invested hundreds upon hundreds of hours into getting a game up and running. You publish it, everything's running beautifully, but then Google or Apple updates their thing, and you got bugs and glitches all over the place, and you got to dive into it. I believe in the past, something's happened like that with the API access with some of these Layer 2 projects as well. Yeah. So if there's no official assistance from that, you're just looking at a whole big bucket more time.
It's above my pay grade, but I know like the bots that track my sends and stuff for treasure hunting often go down, and it must be a quick fix or easy fix, and as a result, we saw UPX land and whatnot go down for a while recently for a few days until they figured out what the API problem was. So yeah, you've got to stay on top of it. It's not something you can set and forget.
Yes. So nice one, Kushal. I think the idea is nice, but it would probably have to be something more official within the Layer 1 than community-based, I would imagine. And that kind of, this conversation, I picked this, normally I only usually do 2 quips, but this next one from another rampant quipser, Angry Ursia, kind of feeds off of what we've just kind of talked about there. So finally, in quips, Angry Ursia states that he's noticed a number of Upland utilities have faded away, which is kind of exactly what you're talking about, Swally. He says some, like the 5716 server, RIP, ran into too many issues while trying to keep Upland changing the APIs. Oh, there you go. Others just weren't getting enough reward to make maintenance worth the time and effort. Hopefully, Upland is actually making it easier for future dev success, and this is just an issue for legacy tools / bots. Yep. Yes, absolutely. I remember back in the day there was a bot. Who used to run that? I forget whose that was. Somebody used to have a bot where you could query the neighborhood development stats. You'd put that in and it'd spit out all the stats, or it'd tell you the leaderboard in the percentage constructed or all that sort of stuff. That was super useful. I used to love using that.
I think UPX Land does a bit of that now. Like we see quite regularly, I wouldn't say daily, but quite regularly, like especially for our time zone, Upland will go down for anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour for updates. And until recently, we never had a clue why Upland, what they were updating, what was changing. I don't know if developers get anything better or they get more information, but again, it comes down to this communication. I think everyone keeps saying the same thing. There's just a lack of communication between Upland and its users, whether it be just general players or developers. Maybe, developers probably need a heads up. We're going to be changing this. This is what you're going to need to focus on to make sure your site's still running. So, I don't know, like a UGC type platform for developers, just to give them the heads up so we don't have, like we had with UPX land going down for several days because they couldn't work out what was wrong.
Yes. Shout out to Laban. I've just caught up on what you've dropped there, mate. Thanks for dropping that. I will share this because it's important.
I meant to bring that to your attention. Sorry.
No, that's all good. So, where is it? So, Laban's shared a link here to Upland's X account, their Twitter account. Now, Desjack has asked exactly about how are USD transactions handled in regards to royalties. Upland said USD transactions are handled by the same value being delivered in UPX. So, for example, if your item was sold for $10, the user would be charged $10.50. The 50 cents would be converted to UPX, 500 UPX, and then split in half, 250 before being delivered as part of your royalties. So that's good to know. Thanks for that, mate.
Wow.
And yes, Laban said Upland Data, that tool that I said with the neighborhoods was managed by Hire. Yeah, excellent. Your brain is clearly not as dog shit as mine is. Thanks, mate. All right, so what are we up to? That was the quips. So yes, cheers for that. Cernas4, Kashal089 and Angry Ursia. You've all earned yourselves 10,000 UPX after fees. Reminder that it's very easy to do so. There's a link to the Google form in the description. If you submit one and we use it on the show and you include your in-game name, you'll win yourself some kind of prize. And like I said, it's more than likely going to be 10,000 UPX after fees. All right, that brings us on over to the Dynamic Node Builders Getting to Know Community Members Spotlight this week. They are looking at Wolf Warner, who is currently an executive with a net worth coming up on 18 million UPX, and he's got 790 properties and 9.17 Spark. His home residence is in the Sherwood Forest neighbourhood of Detroit, which, if you've been around for a while, you would know that was one of those node projects that come out like a bull out of a gate. Like most of these kind of neighbourhood nodey projects do, seen some highs, seen some lows, but they're still kicking along strong, I believe. Now, did I close his thing? Where is it? There he is. Let's go and take a sneaky peeky at what old mate Wolf Warner's got going on here. So we're looking at his progress stats. That's looking very good, mate. It looks like this reminds me of when I was talking to Coach Funk. If you didn't check that out, I had a chat with Coach Funk on one of the other podcast series I did, and his chart looked very similar. Very linear, very steady hodler growth. Property count going up. Nice. And look at that. His property's net worth kind of started going away from his mint net worth. It's come back together again. It's separated again. It's been dead on. And now, his mint net worth is actually ahead of his property's net worth. So he's making a bit of a conceited effort there, or a concentrated effort probably, to get that flipped around, which is, if you can make use of that, good on you. Although, you scroll in, she's pretty tight. But yes, very good. All right,
that last spike, if I'm not wrong, Wolf Warner, I think, went pretty strong in Washington in one particular suburb.
There you go.
in one particular neighbourhood being Crestwood, I think it was. I think he owns like a stack in Crestwood.
Yeah, 726 properties, and then jumped to, what is that, 767. Well, we can have a bit of a sneaky peeky in there. This is shout out to UPX land.
I'm sure I saw a post on Twitter from him.
Washington. Let's check the. Oh yeah, you're right. Look at that, Crestwood. So he's got a bunch of those.
Yeah, must.
He's dropped a fair bit of coinage on the old Washington. Mint prices. What do we got? Ranging from 11,400 all the way up to Big Bertha, 114,000 for a 91 square. Nice one. All right, let's stop snooping around and go back to the main point of what this segment is. So this is the Dynamic Node Builders Questionnaire. In-game name, Wolf Warner, Uplander since December 2021. Been to Vegas, yes. What do you do for a living? Sit down and be quiet. Any guesses what that might be? Librarian?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a classic one. I think that would be wildly inaccurate, but you never know. Tattoos, yes. Bucket list, San Diego, Comic-Con. One thing you will never do again, snowboard. Well, there's got to be a good story behind that one. Pet peeve, talking during movies. Most helpful thing you own, a 3D printer. It's interesting. Guilty pleasure, popcorn and melted cheese dip. Celebrity you know the most about, Miles Morales. Famous fact about where you live, New York City's most populous borough. 3 Uplanders you chat with regularly. Woodhood, which is the Neighborhood No Project, ISTO, and the one and only Mr. Coach Funk. Good on you, Wolf Warner. So, yes. Now, I said at the start of the show, we've got a 50,000 UPX campaign going on in partnership with this podcast and the DMB team. So what's that all about? Well, what Mesmi, who is one of the leaders of that team, is looking for is people, especially if you're heading to Genesis Week, although it doesn't have to be, it can be anybody out there. Anybody who wants to get involved in either nominating themselves to be a part of that questionnaire or nominating somebody else. If you do so before, probably it'll have to be, I haven't really squared this away with Mesmi, but I imagine it'll have to be a couple of days before next week's podcast. If you hit Mesmi up in a DM and let her know that you want to get involved, you'll be entered into the 50,000 UPX prize, which will be spun and won on next week's Genesis Week show. For this show, that's 50,000 UPX after fees. So yes, to enter, all you got to do is send Mesmi a DM on either Discord or on X, say g'day and tell her that the Upland Down Under podcast sent you, and make sure you let Mesmi know that you're keen to get involved, and you have to tell her your in-game name as well. Don't sleep on this one. Mesmi gave me the heads up that she's only received a few entries, so it just might be the easiest 50,000 UPX you've ever earned. Links are in the description to Mesmi's stuff to get in touch with her. So yeah, you'll be... If you happen to win this, it'll be delivered, I would imagine, after the Genesis Week City release. So it might help you to repair your poor old damaged wallet if you go all in on that sort of stuff. All right. Now, what are we up to? Might be more giveaways times. Yes. So each week on this podcast, we do a weekly competition thingo. And last week's challenge was you had to get yourself in the contest channel within the Metaverse Ventures. No, I'm saying the old version. The Metaverse Ventures Australia server, the NBA server. Yes, Upland did steal my acronym, but I'm going to keep hold of it. And what you had to do was let us know what you think about the extra potions element added to the totem system. And also, if you wanted to, how you feel about the obvious push into more and more USD-focused sales. Prizes, well, your name's going to roll on a list of all entrants for the chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. You will get yourself another entry into the big 2024 end-of-year prize giveaway draws. And, of course, most importantly of all, your name is going to go in the draw to win a killer 3-piece graveyard map asset set from show sponsor Laban and his MetaVentures Graveyard Goods, currently located in Oakland and LA. So hopefully, I did see, Swally, you got your entry in just in time. I was a bit slow today putting the brakes on that one, so you got in there by the skin of your teeth. Let's where is it? Prize wheel 1. Let's give away some stuff. So this is everybody who got involved with that. Thank you very much. So I'm going to roll this wheel only once, and then we'll move on to the other wheel for the Levan prize. So this is for the 10,000 UPX after fees. Goes to... Oh, yeah. Well done. I'll butcher that name. Congratulations, Alan! A.K.A. Hugh Yang. 10,000 UPX on the way for you. Now, this is the big one. If you didn't see it, let's have another quick look. So, the 3 gravestones. This is a 3-piece set, care of Laban and his showrooms at 401 Stargell Ave. I had a bit of a hard time finding this one. I believe it's in the other area of Oakland. So, but you can definitely get them at 4338 West Piccolo Boulevard, Los Angeles. There are links in the description for this show that takes you directly to them anyway, if you're having a hard trouble finding them. And don't forget, if you have a property in the Lone Mountain, San Francisco area, you can get a 50% discount. And look at that, they're only 4,000 UPX basically after fees. It comes out to a bit more than that. So let's give the first
that is with
set
fees, I think, isn't it?
Oh, that is with fees. Yeah, thank you. I'm too used to looking at my own. All right, so this is the first set. So this is everybody who got involved in last week's challenge. You know, they had a chance at 10,000, and they're going to have a chance at the first set. Good luck, everybody. The first set from Graveyard Goods goes to, oh my gosh, he's got the Midas touch here. He's already got 10,000 UPX from the quips, and now he's got himself a full set of the graveyard things. Well done, CERN-S4. And, of course, massive shout-out and thank you very much to Laban. Now, that's not the only chance. The next 2 weeks, you're going to have more chances to get involved with that. So before we get there, though, I need to say that the bonus prize... Now, bonus prize... This is for all of the entries into the weekly challenge. Sometimes I might pick the funniest one. Sometimes I might pick the most poignant one. This time I tried to only look at the positive ones. Of course, there was a few, well, there was more than a few. There was a lot of negativity about. But this week it goes to Cassastra, who I believe is in chat as well. So congratulations, Cass. Cass's entry was... I had a little regret not buying one evolution for my orange cheetah. I didn't like the secondary market prices, so I tried a couple of trade offers to either gain the evolution or get rid of the cheetah. I ended up with a successful trade when someone wanted my totem for a rare vampire ornament. In brackets, love these for Nola. I was meh about this cycle because I suck at leaderboard challenges and an evolution was USD. However, I feel like I did something with this cycle because I like my spirit ornament obtained from feeling salty I couldn't evolve my orange totem. So that's an interesting way to go about it. I thought that was an interesting take on it. You might not really have been interested in the potion totem mechanics, but Cass has thought outside of the box, and she's used that to her advantage and struck a deal to get something that she did want. So, well done, Cass. 5,000 UPX on the way for you. So that was last week's challenge. Now, this week's challenge, once again, get yourself into the contest channel within the NBA server and let us know if you are attending Genesis Week, what are you most looking forward to about Genesis Week and why? Of course, you don't have to be going to Genesis Week to get involved. So if you're not attending Genesis Week, let us know what's the number one most awesome announcement that you'd love to hear come out of this year's Genesis Week. So if you are attending Genesis Week, what are you looking forward to and why? If you're not attending Genesis Week, what's something that could be announced during Genesis Week that would totally float your boat or blow your mind, etc., etc. Once again, all of the names, all of the entrants will roll for a chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. You get yourself another entry into the end of year big, massive prize draws. And, of course, you will go in the running for the second killer 3-piece graveyard map asset set from show sponsor Laban and his ghoulish Metaventure Graveyard Goods, as I said, currently located in Oakland and Los Angeles. You can DM Laban for more details, either about the showroom or the 50% off campaign that he's got going for Lone Mountain. You can do that on either Discord, or you can give him a follow on X while you're at it. The links to the showrooms, his X account, etc., are in the description. All right, now I believe, Swally Man, you slung me some names, so this is for all of the people that have managed to get jumped on board. Thank you very much. Now, we have last couple of weeks, well, last week in particular, we missed a few people, so let me go share screen here, and I'll run through the names a bit slowly here, and if you're not on this list, you better speak now or you're going to miss out. So we've got Jimmy Jester in the house, Laban, Rashkar, Maui, Caesar, Bamtech, Keeping Cool, Trees, Elslack, shout out to the Volga Uplander, Michael Collar, Picasso, Huyang, oh, he's in the house, congrats, and Cass is in, and Trees is in there twice. What are you trying to do there?
My bad.
You got some kind of backyard thing going under the table deal going on with him. I didn't. Was Bamtech in there? Did I say Bamtech?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Bamtech's in. Anybody else? Speak now. Are you going to miss out? Was Maui. All right. So this is going to be for a choice. Now, this is hopefully, maybe Swally or Laban's good at this. Kick my ass through the week, please, somebody, or Maui or somebody. Remind me to get a better wheel up for these prizes. Just for the last few weeks, I've been just doing, well, not the last few weeks, for the last couple of months, I've been just doing your choice of a Samurai Aquatics jacuzzi or a bridge. Just recently, I've been going around to some of the other UGC map asset creators, including Laban, including a few other shops here, there, and everywhere, and I've been just starting to gobble up some inventory. One to go with the big end of year prize giveaways. I'm thinking about just making that absolutely massive this year. I kind of was inspired a bit by what Elslack did as far as putting the call out for, donations and whatnot. I'm in a fortunate enough position with my account that I can basically gobble up stuff like that for free. So I'll probably just continue doing so. So I'd like to have this weekly participants wheel maybe be a bit more fleshed out with more than just Samurai Aquatic stuff. So if somebody can throw a shoe at me to remind me about that, that would be appreciated. So yes, but for this week, this is your choice of a Samurai Aquatics garden bridge or a Love Heart jacuzzi. And that one goes to... There you go. You got it in the end anyway. Trees, well done. Now, Trees, I'm not 100% sure who you are, mate. So can you please either... Or is that your in-game name, is it? Trees is your in-game name. If it's not your in-game name, can you please send me a DM on Discord or something like that so I make sure I can get that to you? Yeah, send me a DM in Discord or on X or something like that. Whatever works. Oh, is that it there? Is it Trouble?
Trouble. One.
That is a good one. Trouble 001. Very good. All right, and that brings us to the end of this particular show. Unless anybody else has something to spam, promote, or whatnot, do lots of different things on here. I don't charge people anything for promotions or anything like that. So if you got something to promote, hit me up. We do have Laban's got it covered for the next. I think he's got another 2 more weeks, and then we've got another show sponsor on the back of that. So yeah, I'm more than happy to give away other people's stuff. Put it that way. So more prizes we can add to the wheels, and whatnot, the better. So yes, Genesis Week coming up, of course. When is 6th and 7th, isn't it? So actually, the 6th is our 7th. So our show will be right before Genesis Week. Yeah, our show next week will be on the 6th, but we live in the future here, so that's your 5th. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Right, if you are heading over there, all the best, and take it easy. Be safe. Don't get too freaking crazy. I heard some interesting stories from last week's Genesis week. People doing all sorts of stuff, finding themselves in all sorts of awkward situations. I'll go into dad mode. Behave yourselves, you freaking bunch of maniacs, and we'll leave it at that. If you have, like I said, if you have any sort of thing to promote, hit me up. And a reminder that if you're in a time zone that fits in with the Thursday night live streaming schedule of starting at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you'd like to get involved, I dropped the link to the weekly podcast in the NBA server about 15 minutes before the show starts. That's a bit of fun. If you can get in there before we go live on the YouTubes, we always do a bit of chit-chat. You can watch me scramble to get things ready, swearing, talking to myself, all sorts of stuff. And don't forget to check out Laban's Map Asset Metaventure Graveyard Goods, and that's at Oakland and LA. All right, that's enough gas bagging. All the best for the rest of the week, and we'll catch you later.